Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today I have the story for you, titled, Am I the a-hole for wanting to divorce my postpartum wife? And a shout out to Aaron and Xavier for sending me this story. And guys, this story is about a guy, a father and husband, who is, I believe, 29 years old, and he is now divorcing his wife after what was the 9 months of absolute terror of when she was pregnant, carrying his child and all that. And she went absolutely mental. I mean, with a capital M. 2 levels I don't think you probably ever heard described in a story on this channel. And of course, you're going to see when he's ready to serve her, all the stereotypes come about. The waterworks, the I will change, it's not my fault, this type of thing. It's crazy. And I'll be very going to go over here, guys, that when you are mistreated, you always have to check people that are mistreating you. Man or woman, doesn't make a difference. Stand up for yourself and everything. But when you're one of these people that just keeps taking stuff, it just invites more mistreatment. And if you don't, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And there are people in this world that are completely wacko and take advantage of the weakness. And you're going to see in this story how he puts up with so many things because she's his wife and she's pregnant. He blamed the hormones. It ain't the hormones. She's nuts. And you got to cut ties. Otherwise, it can just get worse and worse and worse. And this one here, this guy finally has enough. And of course, is just turned to absolute chaos. So that'll be a very good one to go over here for you, particularly for you relationship guys. And I'm sure many of you guys that have children and maybe obviously had your wife pregnant once or twice or dealt with pregnant gals, I'd like to hear your 2 cents about this in the comment section, as well as my 4% of the women out there that have had children. I'd like to hear your opinions also about this whole situation, how things go down with this gal in the story. It's definitely interesting. He says, it's stupid to think that I'm at this point, but here I am. My soon-to-be ex-wife, a 28-year-old female, and I, a 29-year-old male, have wanted kids for years and were thrilled when she finally got pregnant last year. Yeah, well, let's see how long you're going to be thrilled given how I know this goes. From day one, I wanted to be the most supportive husband and future father that I could be. Her father was never involved in her life. I used to work as a tech in labor and delivery, and my brother, to put it kindly, is not the most involved father. I saw too many problems up close and personal when it comes to a lacking husband, and I would be damned before I made the same mistakes. While that's great and all, you want to be loving and loyal and supportive of your wife, the problem is guys that are so, determined like that, based on other people's behaviors, tend to overcompensate, tend to tolerate a lot of crap that they shouldn't, as you're about to see. And notice he said in the beginning that her father was never involved in her life. What happens to women who grew up without the father and know that they abandoned them? Daddy issues. Serious daddy issues. Or fear that everything from wanting to have lots of guys pay attention to them and hook up with them to make up for all the love they didn't get from daddy. Or serious distrust in men and causing problems. Sabotaging good relationships out of fear that they're going to be abandoned. Remember that. The problem is, roughly 4 weeks into her pregnancy, everything started going downhill. He says she stopped wanting sex. Fair enough. Hormones and stress make that a problem, and went full stop. But then she didn't want any physical interactions. No cuddling, no kissing, slowly becoming more and more distant. So, sure, as a man, I don't know what's going on internally and all that, and what it's like to carry a little human being, and some women get sick from the get-go, and they feel sick and want to throw up and nauseous and all that, amongst many other things. I don't know what that's like. But still, I know how this goes, and this guy shouldn't be treated the way he's being treated. But oftentimes, women get horny as hell when they're pregnant, from what I've heard, amongst many other things. Her eating constantly changed, and she was terrible about it. She would demand, not ask, demand, that I get her something all day, and the moment I give it to her, she wants something else, screaming at me. Okay, again, hormone issues, I get it, no problem. Smack! No. You can do things to make her life easy because she's carrying a little human being inside and feeling nauseous and all these things. But there's no her screaming at him and making demands. No. But you see where him trying to overcompensate for her dad not being in the picture, and he says his brother's a scumbag. He's just inviting more abuse. This is unacceptable. He needs to be putting her in her fucking place. She never let me go to any of her appointments, no groups she went to, or spend more time away. That's your child in there, I hope. You can go to appointments and things like that. She became cold and bitter, constantly angry with me, and this went on for months. I wouldn't be tolerating that. I don't want to hear, you did this to me. We both wanted to have a child. You're not going to be angry with me, making demands, bitch at me. You need to lay down the law with her. Listen to this. She slapped me a couple of times when I forgot one of her dozens of tasks that she assigned to me during the day. Done. It's over. When they start getting physically abusive, already he has grounds to walk away. And I don't care that they're married. I don't care if she's pregnant. But her getting physical with him, done. Go live with your parents. We're done. We're going to get a divorce. If this is, in fact, my child, okay, fine, I'll raise this child. Of course, because it's my child. But you smack at me on top of everything else, we're done. Think about it, guys. If he was hitting her, right? Would she have a right? Should she stick around? Of course not. She stopped doing anything for the house a month into the pregnancy. Sure, she's pregnant. I get moving around is hard, but she wouldn't even do laundry. About 4 weeks in 5 weeks, I did everything. I'm also the primary source of income. I barely sleep. I'm running on fumes. Smack! Stop being such a pushover, dude. There's a reason she keeps treating you like crap. One, she's an asshole, but two, you keep taking it. You should have been laying on the law from the get-go. And you're paying all the bills, and she's 1 month pregnant. She came and freaking put a dish in the freaking dishwasher or set the table. She's doing nothing. I mean, this is ridiculous. My sister, my cousin, when they were both like 8 months pregnant, they were still out and about doing things. She made me sleep in the guest room. Would always try and pick fights. I never once raised my voice to her, my hand, or my tone. I sat there and constantly mentally reminded myself, this isn't her, and this would all be worth it. Smack! No, this is outright abuse. And we can add the physical abuse in there. You should not be tolerating this. She didn't want me to make any baby decisions, no names, no work on the nursery, nothing. Bullshit. This is my child too. I'm going to have a say in the decision making. This isn't all on you. Fucking Attila the wife here. Now listen to this. 1 month before she delivered, she yelled how effing useless I am and how I don't do anything and that she's staying with her mother. Useless? You're doing everything. You're working, providing for her, paying all the bills, doing everything, and you're useless and don't do anything? She didn't let me get her anything, come check on her, threatened to divorce me, and get a restraining order if I even called her. Yeah, what a great girl. Threatened to divorce you? Dude, you should have been at the divorce attorney's office a while ago. A couple weeks back, I found out that the birth of my son from a Facebook post. She posted it with her mother and some family. It effing broke me. I tried to go to the hospital visit, and they had security kick me out. You found out on Facebook, through Facebook, that your child was born. We think this is your child. What the fuck? Now, she is a raging asshole. And I am not buying the hormones. Yes, the hormones do play a part, but not like this. She is a raging a-hole. There is a whole lot going on here with her or other things behind the scenes. This is terrible. It's over. It is over. I don't care. No. There's going to be some jackass in the comment section that's going to defend her. This is unacceptable. Remember jackass in the comment section that wants to defend her? She was smacking him. After months of outright hatred, anger, and abuse thrown at me 24/7, I fucking had it. Odds are I'm not even on the birth certificate. I opened a new account and had all my deposits go there. I took half of it out of the joint account. She never bought baby stuff ahead of time. Who knows what the money was going towards. So now that she has to buy supplies for our son, she's used up every cent. I've gotten a lawyer. Thank God. It's about fucking time, dude. 9 months of this shit he's been dealing with. The house is mine. I'm the only one who spent money on it anyway. I sent the rest of her stuff to her mother's house. I'm demanding a paternity test. You're darn right. I'm not spending another damn cent until I get verification it's my son. I'm absolutely divorcing her. Thank you. Guys, 9 months is a long time to be treated like absolute garbage and abused. And it is abuse. She chose to stay home. She chose the stay-at-home life. If she cheated, she's screwed. Her mother has money for a couple weeks' stay, not even close to enough for full-time support. If he is my son, I will absolutely be getting my rights as a father for a relationship. If it is your son, you should be going to have that son all the time, because she is proven to be completely a fucking wacko. Last week, my soon-to-be ex-wife called. She was practically hyperventilating. Ah, wonderful to hear from you. I guess you got the papers. She wants to come home. Yeah, sure. She was crying how it was all a mistake. Hobag Handbook Chapter 4. She's not staying with her mother. She's at a friend's house. She wants to come home. She wants our son to have his father. Yeah, sounds to me that things have gotten pretty difficult ever since she has a screaming baby there. And her mother probably hasn't taken her yelling and screaming and throwing tantrums and all that, so she wants to go back to the sucker who put up with her during all this. You know? I got no problem a husband, doing what he can to make the pregnant wife's life easier, of course. But when she becomes a raging psycho and demanding and mean and abusive, not to mention getting physically violent, no, it's over. You're not coming back home. I told her I don't fucking believe he's my son. Why the fuck would she pull this shit if he is? Show me a paternity test, and I'll do everything I can for him and him only. She wants to meet tomorrow at the park so I can talk to her. I said sure, so I can finally say everything I should have said months ago to her face. My parents are hoping we can make up. Smack to your parents. Okay, Mom and Dad, yeah, really? Do you know all the shall I remind you, Mom and Dad, all the things that she's been doing to me during this whole time? I don't want to hear it's the fucking hormones, Mom, so zip it. Really? Smacking me? What if the situation... Okay, you couldn't totally reverse the situation here, although some far left people think you could switch the situation here. Hint, hint, what I'm talking about here. But if I was doing the same things to her, people would have a major problem with that. My brother is a deadbeat jackass, so I don't care what he has to say, but my sister thinks I should at least hear her out. So the parents are siding with her, the sister's siding with her. No. I say, Mom, Dad, and sister, here's everything that happened, in case you've forgotten. And if you're going to side with her, then our relationship is over. She is a raging psycho. I will not be married to that. I got to see who she really is when she got pregnant. Now the update to see what happens, and this is very interesting. It says, I had to speed up the process of actually talking to her since the story spread quickly around the internet, inevitably reaching someone involved with friends and family, and now way more people I personally know are getting the details that I'm comfortable with. It's amazing these people post these stories online are shocked when somehow, some way, somebody they know in their personal lives find out. He says, before I end up chatting with her, I open up to my parents and sister about what was happening in detail. My parents were flustered at me hiding the more unsavory details, to say the least, and are probably going to be checking on me daily for the rest of the year to make sure I'm okay. Well, thank God for that. This is what happens when you control the narrative. As embarrassing as it was, he had to let them know what's going on. Otherwise, you got to make up with her. At least they now know. My sister would probably have to be held back from thrashing her, so I had to get a friend to help with that chat, since my sister would not be able to contain herself. Well, maybe you should unleash the Kraken. Maybe you should let your sister go have a chat with your soon-to-be ex-wife. I think your soon-to-be ex-wife deserves to deal with your sister. So basically, within hours of the story going into the digital stratosphere, I called my wife back as quickly as I could to finally sit down and talk. Oh, gee, I can't wait to hear this. Or shall I say, you guys, I'm sure, can't wait to hear this. So we chose a local park this morning, and I had a friend of mine record the conversation from beginning to end. Very smart. I was basically ready to hear the generic affair story and get out of Dodge. But of course, it got complicated. You're dealing with a raging psycho. Now listen to her story, guys. So we met at a section of the park, the picnic tables, and picked one as far away from other people to avoid them getting wrapped up in our awkwardness. She looked terrible, haggard, stressed, and thankfully without the baby. She tried to have the big emotional chat and whatnot. I wasn't tearing up or acting like the hardened badass. I frankly was just wanting to figure out what this was all for. I didn't even ask to get the question before the floodgates spilled. I'm going to attempt to relay this story as best as I can, because even looking back on the recording, it's a mess. But also, it's because I don't 100% believe it, so fair warning, it could all be fake. Okay, so he's relaying as much as possible, and he's very skeptical on what she's about to tell him. So place your bets. What do you all think she's about to tell him? I'm sure you all can think there's going to be no accountability here, but think about more things. This all started with, wait for it, her mother. Imagine that. As I said before, my wife's father was absent. He started off as well. He had 2 sons with her mother before her and I. And when her mother got pregnant with her father went from being the picture perfect guy at first and slowly changed into a negligent, abusive, unfaithful, unsupportive jackass, ending with him disappearing when her mother was delivering. He's been in and out of prison since. No one knows why he left. So, according to her dad is going back to the daddy issues. Daddy abandoned her. Sorry, she's got issues of abandonment. And a lot of people that have issues with abandonment completely torpedo good relationships, good things, out of fear that they want to get rid of, they want to dump somebody before they're going to get dumped. And also throw in her mother here. Her mother could have issues of abandonment. And then spreading that onto her. The impression her mother always gave was a strong, resilient woman who could withstand anything that life threw at her and did anything for her kids. She has claimed to be in therapy for years. In reality, she has managed to conceal a deep hatred for men outside of her sons, but according to my wife, there was favoritism towards her. My wife also found out that she stopped therapy almost a decade ago, but never told anyone. So mom hates men, except her sons. Doesn't trust men, thinks we're all going to scumbags, blah, 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 one of those types. Okay. Her mother seemed to always have some slight against me, and now I know why. She was never hostile, but certainly wasn't warm to me, and hearing about her secret hatred, I kind of knew where this was going. This is why you spend years getting to know your girl, getting to know her family, and if you find there's a lot of turmoil in her family, it's probably not a good idea to have a relationship with her. If the mother isn't warm and loving towards you, then I tell you everything. If the girl's father isn't in her life, abandoned her, that type of thing, the odds are very greatly that she's fucked up because of this, and will come back to haunt you. Right here. Roughly about a year before she got pregnant, my mother-in-law slowly began sowing the seeds of doubt and bitterness into my wife. Apparently, she had a full mental breakdown. She told her about me staying late at work, possibly hiding an affair, or that myself providing majority of the income, setting up for a hard divorce. Eventually, my mother-in-law's husband did this to her. She convinced my wife I would do it to her, and she pumped the poison into her for months. My wife always idolized her mother, and compounding that with anxiety she suffered from for years, she dove in deep. So, this woman here, she's blaming it all on her mom. It's not my fault that I was a raging psycho during the pregnancy. It's not my fault that I was yelling at you and screwing up the whole situation, smacking you, leaving you. No, it's my mom. My mom manipulated me. It's not. I wouldn't have done it otherwise. Bullshit. Bitch, you're a grown-ass woman. Yeah, mothers and parents have influence on their kids. Yes, I get that. But still, grown-ass adults, no. And this is if this story's true. As soon as she got pregnant, like on the dot, she fell into a mental hole within days. And that's when her mother got a hold of her again. Hearing about the pregnancy apparently triggered something fierce in my mother-in-law, and it spiraled from there. She had my wife fully convinced it was happening again. So this dude has been doing everything for her, and the mother, again, according to the story, is convincing her that he's going to leave you, he's awful, and this girl with her own daddy issues is probably thinking the same thing. Every single thing my wife did to hurt me was at the behest of my mother-in-law. Combined with pregnancy hormones and undiagnosed mental illness she claims to have, no confirmation, and stress, she completely lost her mind. She 100% believed that I would bail, and so she was punishing me first, culminating in her moving in with her mother and leaving me out of the birth. There you go. There are people like this that have abandonment issues, whether it be with love interest or friends. And there's a good, I've known women like this, guys. I'm sure maybe some of you guys have, maybe some of you have been in situations like this, relationships. It was great for a while, and then boom, they sabotage the whole thing out of fear that you're going to get rid of them, and it comes back to daddy issues. While I was sending the papers and started the divorce proceedings, she kicked into full-blown postpartum depression, and when her mother finally got her, when she finally beat me, which I of course was her victory over her ex. Did I mention she's effing crazy? She had no more use of my wife. The family involved in the birth include my mother-in-law's sister and my wife's brothers. While my mother-in-law and her sister knew what was going on, my brother-in-law got fed the BS narrative my mother-in-law spun. When my mother-in-law was done with her plan, the entire facade came down and my brother-in-law found out everything upon questioning my wife. They were horrified. I bet they were horrified. But I'm sure that his wife's brothers here probably thought that their mother was like a saint. She put on the big act for them. Needless to say, postpartum facing a very grueling divorce on her side, no longer welcome in our home, and having done everything to alienate me from our son at the behest of a broken lunatic really hit her like a truck. She torched her entire life because her mother is a broken shell of a human who used her to enact her own sense of justice. The very mother who washed her hands of her after she got what she wanted. Or at least, that's the story she gave me. Now, we're not done yet, but so guys, what do you think? Do you think this whole thing she's saying is bullshit? Complete bullshit? Some elements of truth and bullshit? Or actually the truth? I say anything's possible. People with abandonment issues and angry mother-in-laws and all that. But I say, who fucking cares? She's a grown-ass adult, did what she did, made her choices, period. This guy should divorce her, have nothing to do with her. And paternity test. If that kid's not his, whoosh, goodbye. Don't ever fucking contact me again. I don't care what happens to you. If that kid is my kid, okay, I will do everything I can, number one, to get that kid, because you're all fucking crazy. Or at the very least, provide everything, blah, blah, blah. But take her back? No way. Frankly, there are many holes in her stories. Oh, yeah. The starting point of the pattern of abuse, the claims of who was involved in the delivery, me being absent from appointments, the friend, who she confirmed is female, that she's staying with, and of course my alleged son's paternity. It seems way too effing crazy to be made up. Who the hell would go to the effort to make up this facing what she's facing? I don't know, a wacko? As soon as she finished, she said she's setting up a paternity test and gave me the information that I needed. Within luck, it should be done in roughly a week or so once I do my part. She gave the most sincere apologies any human has ever been given. Bitch, it doesn't matter. I don't care about your apologies. 9 months you were a raging psycho. Need I remind you about everything that went on there? And not to mention you hitting me. She begged for another chance. Hobag Handbook Chapter 5. I was frankly too stunned to say anything. So she left and promised to call soon. No, please don't call. Just send me a certified letter confirming yes or no the paternity test. And I would get 2 paternity tests done. The first one says you are the dad. I don't think I can give her another chance. I don't think I can ever risk anything like that again. God, I'm still hoping she's just being a cheating psycho and spinning a sympathy story to try and throw me off because this got way too complicated. So that is the end of his story here. Now, I'm expecting updates. So if you guys see updates before I get it, please let me know. But anyhow, no. It's over. And just even if it's true, even if 100% is true, her mother manipulated her into all that, and her mother did her dirty work and all that, so what? There are lines you don't cross, and this woman crossed them multiple times. And the final straw is the physical abuse. She's terrible. This guy, if he takes her back, he's going to be dealing with this type of shit forever. The mother-in-law ain't going anywhere. This woman has got serious freaking problems, and it's not his to deal with, period. But again, this is why I say you spend years getting to know your girl, finding out her background, her history, her family, and all that. He may not have married her if he really got digging into her family and all that, and also just how the mother-in-law treated him. But no, there's no going back. So I hope like hell this child is not his, so he can move on. Because otherwise, he's going to be dealing with her and her psycho family forever. But anyhow, that's what I think. Now, I'm going to read some comments here, because let's just say I'm not alone in my thinking. One guy says, if it is indeed your son, what this means is that you should pursue full custody since it appears she's not stable. Mother-in-law should not be allowed near your son since she's not mentally stable and hates the male gender. Yeah, I can't imagine what that mother-in-law might do to this baby. And if it is your son, till she gets into therapy and can prove she's not a threat, wife should not be raising this child in any capacity. No one blames you for not being able to get over her abuse. You are not the a-hole to pursue divorce and deserve freedom from abuse. Good on you for getting the evidence. Should make this an easier process. This guy deserves a break. Another one. May not be made up, but she's totally shifting the blame onto someone else. There's really no one else to blame. She is responsible for her own actions. It's not only going to get worse. If that was your baby and you found it on Facebook, that is completely unforgivable as well. You should go through with the divorce. Her behavior was borderline psychotic, and she wants to even take responsibility for it. You deserve better, man. Stay strong. Yes, exactly. I couldn't agree more. She's a grown-ass adult. She won't even take any responsibility for this. Another one. Mate, I went to your previous thread expecting to tear you a new one for being an a-hole while your wife was pregnant, but goddamn did you prove me wrong. Yeah, smack. Another one of these freaking white knight jackasses. Yeah, you were proved wrong. You've been more than reasonable throughout this entire affair, and whilst I'm not sure a lot of people are going to weigh in on this, you're the only one that knows if there's anything else to salvage here. Do you trust her moving forward? No. Is this all indicative of future behavior? Yes. Is the kid really yours? Probably not. Is this really worth saving? No. This could be a case of a little pain now to save yourself a lifetime of hell. I understand you just had a kid, but having two happily divorced parents is better than having an unhappy home. Unhappy home. This guy could pray for an unhappy home. We're going to have a freaking psycho home if he takes her back. You can probably understand where I'm leaning, but in my opinion, you need to go outside, sit on a bench, and just think about how you want to spend the rest of your life. Reddit can't help, unfortunately, just my 2 cents, of course. Well, no. End the marriage, end the freaking story, and pray to the Lord up high that kid is not his kid, so he doesn't have to deal with her ever again. And if it is his kid, okay, then he needs to get custody of that child, whatever he has to do, because she is wacko. And it ain't going to change. And I don't care, all the medication in the world. And then he'd still be dealing with the wacko mother. Because this girl here, I guarantee, will not be able to distance herself from her mother permanently. There's no way. She has her claws into her. So there you go, guys. Crazy story. And going to show you, there's the point where it is over. You know, he should have been done with her way early on. He should have established boundaries with her and laid them early on. Instead of that nice guy shit. And once she smacked him, done. Get the fuck out. Alright guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.